Hi, it's Christine. So today I am going to sew a shirt together with darts. So a couple of things I want to do before we get started is I want to show you, so when you have muslin, what you can do is you can actually cut into the muslin and rip it right onto the seam, okay? So like, let's say you're measuring a piece of muslin for, let's say, this design. So what you do is you cut the muslin to the size, like you measure it over here, and you can actually do a snip, and then like so. And then you can, oh, it's because I already sewed right there. Here, let me show you another side. Snip. And you can do that, okay? So that way you don't have to keep cutting across the whole length of the muslin, and it becomes a little difficult because you might cut on, like, you know, all crooked and stuff. So you can do that. And then when you have that cut out, it's this long piece, right? So what you do is you have that long piece and you cut it and then just pull it along the length, right? And it gives you a straight line because it goes right onto the grain. And then when you fold it, let me show you a little bit here. So when you fold it, you just fold one side over the other. You see the, okay? And you have this nice crease. And this side, this is the front side, the front bodice. You can fold it right there, and you just put this right against that fold, and that's called a cutting on fold, okay? So let me slide this up. And then, so you only have a little piece right here, you see it? And then this long piece at the end right here, you can just fold it and fold it so that it's out of your way. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to put items on top of my piece so that way it can stay put. I like to have it even, so measure it out even. So I usually have magnets. I have magnets. They're in storage right now, so I don't have those with me. So I'm going to just use whatever I have. A paper scissor. I actually have this other magnet. I have like these round magnets I could use, but I don't have those. I have this round magnet. I'm going to put it on the edge. And then what you want is just make sure the edges are down. So I have this ruler. I'm going to put it on the edge. I have my Bible. Put that thing down. It's going to be a holy piece. Actually, this ruler won't fit. I have my stapler. I'm going to put it on this, okay? So look, it's just wherever, okay? So that you can have this piece stay put. And then you can see you have a pencil, so you can actually trace it with a pencil. Just make sure that this is right along the edge, right? So okay, so I'm actually going to move some things around so that I can have it nice and put. Okay, so this is going to go over here. I'm just going to make a straight line. So why I use a pencil is that pencil actually, you can use like a disappearing fabric pen. The one that I have is actually leaking ink, which is horrible. You don't want that, because if it leaks on fabric, and let's say you're making this for a client and it's really expensive fabric can be $25, $50, $11, just depends, right, on the range. You do not want to leak ink on a $50, $25 per yard fabric. So pencil works really great. It actually just in the wash, it gets rid of the mark, so you would be fine. So I'm just trying to make sure that I have all the edges and make that lined. Make sure you put in your notches so you know where to sew. Okay, so great. So I put in all of my marks, or I traced the whole thing, and I put in all of my notch marks. And I'm going to take this off. And then be sure there is a punch hole mark right here. Make sure you mark those in as well so you know where the punch hole is, okay? And so I'm going to make sure I have everything. It's all marked up so I know where to cut. I know where to notch. Great. So everything looks great. Okay. So I'm going to take this off. It looks great. So these two sides, because they're on the fold, they are going to have the same notches and they're going to have the same darts. I'm going to go get my awl, which is to create a hole in here. So I'll be right back. So I also got my safety pins. They're in this cushion. So what I want to do is, because I do not want my fabric to slide when I'm cutting, I'm going to safety pin this. Okay. So just a couple of pins inside would be great. Just keeps the two pieces together. Make sure I don't cut anything wrong or cut one fabric more than the other or whatever because it slides. So I'm just going to put it all around, just a little bit of pins, not too many. And then this is my fabric scissor. I purchased this specifically for fabrics. This is actually a fabric scissor. I got this You can get this at any fabric store. This one's ARS Corporation. It's a Japanese one. It has this turning dial for like silks or very delicate fabrics. So I'm just going to cut this very carefully. So to make it easier for me, I'm just going to cut this like this so I'm not really cutting the fabric or the pattern yet. I'm just cutting the fabric so that I can get this out of the way and it not cause me to kind of touch it in a way that it would bend the fabric and then cause me to cut the pattern wrong. Okay. So what you want to do is you want to hold onto the fabric and just cut. And then you can fold the fabric just so that it's out of your way. So that way you're not cutting and it's sliding or whatever. Okay. Okay, so I have notches that I want to cut. To make sure I cut them, I just snip them. And then I have my awl here. So I have these 2 dart holes. I'm going to just do it right through the fabric. And see, it's really easy. Again, make sure your hands are spreaded so you don't hurt yourself. And it comes through really easy, see? So, great. So that is what's called the front bodice. I actually also have the back bodice. I think what I'm going to do is, so we don't get confused, I'm going to do the front part first, and then I'm going to do the back part together. Back part later, and then I'm going to do it all together. So let me bring in my iron this out, and then I'm going to bring in my sewing machine. Okay, I'll be right back. All right, I have so I'm gonna let this warm up, and I am actually going to bring in the cords to my sewing machine before I bring in my sewing machine. That way I actually have it ready, and I'll be right back. Okay, I like to leave my pincushion out when I'm not using it and not have it on my hand. Because sometimes what happens is if these things are like this, like if you leave them, because there's different size pins. There's longer pins, these are shorter. If you can see that. So sometimes what happens is this gets caught on things and it just falls out. So I like to push them all the way in, and then I like to leave it just in case, there's an animal around, a dog or whatever. You don't just, these don't get they don't get caught on something, fall, and then could hurt the animal. So I like just to have it, on a place when I'm not using it. So I'll be back. So I'm going to take out my pins. I'm going to put my pin cushion on. Okay. So I'm going to iron out. There's some wrinkles in here because this muslin was folded in a bag. The way I purchased it was just that way. So I'm going to iron it out so I smooth out these folds right here. it's nice and smooth. Be right back. I'm going to get the sewing machine. Great. I'll be right back. It's kind of dark for me over here, so I have a little light. It's just alcohol. Okay. So I'm done with these pins. I'm just going to put them on to the side. And so these darts can be really tricky. Okay. These darts can be really tricky. What you want to do is see these right here, they fold onto each other, right on top of each other, okay? Fold right on top of each other and right to this dart, okay? So what you do is when you get to, you sew at the bottom, and then when you get to these dart, you want to go a 1/2 inch above it. So this dart right here gets hidden in the fabric. I don't know if you can see, but it gets hidden in the fabric, so that way there's no dart in there. And what this happens, what this is for is to create a shirt that's like that, kind of like that. It has a little cute little design. Now you can actually do this with 2 contrasting colors. I'm actually going to do one with contrasting color, but the reason why I'm doing muslin, I've already done this, but the reason why I'm doing this again is because 2 different students asked me how to do this, and I thought it'd be a good thing to do a video, so here it is. So, all right. Let me move my machine over. So, So that dart has to line up with that end piece right there. Kind of want to get this line kind of straight onto each other, because what you want to do is you want to have it so that when the end piece comes together, it looks really great. It looks like it's one simultaneous piece. Okay, so here we go. Okay. Okay. I'm trying to make sure that this end is really flush with this. Okay, so that way when when it comes apart, it looks really great. Okay. Okay, so here goes nothing. And always be sure you backstitch. This thing is not really great. Okay. Always be sure you backstitch, okay? Keeping in mind that that hole is right there and you want to go just half an inch above it, okay? So we're getting close to the hole. So you want to just go a half inch above that hole so it gets hidden in the seam. And then you want to go all the way to the end, kind of walk it, and then you want to backstitch once you get right there. So you backstitch, you forward stitch off the fabric, okay? So there goes your dart. So once you take it apart, it will look like this, okay? You see how mine is not quite at the end. I'm going to show you on the other side, okay? So you want to do a little better job than I did on this side. Okay, I'll show you on the other side, okay? So like I was saying, what you want to do is you want the end right to match up with that end piece, okay? Right there. Okay. I think I'm going to take this out. I'm going to show you. Sometimes you mess up. Sometimes it's not perfect. So what you do is you just take it out. Let me do it really quickly so I can show you what I want. It's really tricky. So. Okay, so I got that out. Let me do it again, okay, just to show you. Okay. Again, so you want to fold the back darts together. You want to fold this dart and make sure you're doing it towards the back. Okay. So you go right to the end, okay? Let's do this one more time. Right to the end. You want it perfectly aligned on top of each other, okay? Right on top of each other. Right there. If you want, you can pin it too. I'm actually gonna... I got these pins. They're a little nicer because they don't, I should say clips, because they don't, you can't poke yourself on these. So I really like them. I'm just going to clip it so it's nice and nice right there. Okay. Just going to hold it in place. Okay. So I clipped it into place, and I want to make sure those end pieces line. They're right on top of each other. You see it? Like right on top of each other. Okay. So I am going to put this in again. Make sure I get that point right there. Okay. Okay. So when you sew, you want to sew a nice straight line. You don't want to have any wrinkles or anything in the fabric. So make sure it's a nice little point and it's nice and straight. Okay. So here I go again. Okay. Make sure I know where that punch hole is. And then make sure I back stitch. So what happens is the back stitching secures the stitches because it's stitching on top of each other. Okay, so you want to go, and what you want to do is you want to do an angle it up to the dart. Okay, and once you get close to the hole, you want to sew it a ½ inch above, walking it as you get closer, and then you back stitch and you forward stitch. Okay, let's see how that looks. Great, it looks perfect. See, amazing. So it looks really great. So now we're going to do the other side, okay? And sometimes it happens, you make a mistake. That's fine. That's just what the point of learning is, right? You make mistakes and you do it over again. No big deal. Okay. So I'm going to sew this other side, and same thing, I'm matching it. If you see, I'm matching it to the end. And then I'm going to use my clip So I can clip these sides together, just the same way, because I do not want it to slip, right? So I'm going to match those two up really nice. I'm going to clip this, and then I'm going to make sure it goes to this dart, okay? So I am going to, where's my thread? Oh, there it is. So I'm going to put that right at the end and put my presser foot down. This can be really tricky. Okay, so I'm going to actually raise my needle up and then put it down. And the other side, sometimes it likes to fold onto the side. So just make sure that it's not folding onto it. Okay, great. So make sure you know where your dart mark is. Mine is right here. And you want to do it in such a way that your dart mark is right on that fold, okay? So you fold it like this, and there you go. Your dart mark is right there. You know, oh, man. All right, this got loose. So, right there. So what you want to do is put it down, and since mine got loose, what you can do is you can put the needle into the fabric, right? So that way it doesn't move around while you're moving the fabric and maneuvering it. So this, you just do it in such a way that it is right there on that fold, okay? Just trying to make it as straight as possible, okay? Right there on that fold, okay? Little brat, being a little brat. All right, let's see. My fabric. Okay. So what you want to do is you want to sew a diagonal to that dart punch hole, and you want to go again and 1/2 inch above it. So forward, back. Okay. Okay. Alrighty. Okay. This on the side's just being a little tricky. I can feel it trying to bubble up on the other side. Just make sure wherever you sew, it's nice and straight line. That way you don't get any curves or anything in it. And that way it looks amazing on the front side, okay? Just be careful. Okay. Okay, so there's the punch hole. I'm going to go a 1/2 inch right above it, and then I'm going to walk it to the end, and then back stitch, and then forward stitch. Okay. You can cut really close because you back stitched. And let's see how it turned out. Yes. See, it looks really great. They're right on top of each other. You see that? And it creates this little V, which is really beautiful. So, yes. And there's actually another punch hole right on the other side. Okay, so this right here, this one has a pointy end, and the pointy end indicates a notch, okay, or where you sew at. And then there's another notch right here, if you can see that. Another notch right there that you want to sew. So you want to make sure you align these and then just sew, okay? Making sure you know where the punch hole is and making sure that punch hole is right in between those notches. Okay, so I'm gonna clip it again. Making sure my punch hole's right there, and I'm gonna sew right there, okay? There's my punch hole right there. Oh. Okay. Okay. So what you want to do, same thing, you want to go at a diagonal, okay? Make sure your needle's up, and then you can. Okay. So I'm just gonna my needle. Okay. So here goes nothing. Make sure you're aware of where your punch hole is, and it just lays right in between the fabric, okay? So it's right there at the fold. I'm just gonna, okay, make it even. Okay, great. So I'm gonna forward stitch and then back stitch, okay? And go right, I'm gonna make sure I realize where the dart is, and I'm just gonna sew it right onto it, okay? Okay, I see my punch hole coming up, so I make sure I know where it is, and then I just sew a 1/2 inch above it, right? And then I back stitch, and then I forward stitch off the fabric, okay? And then I can cut it right there because I back stitch, so none of the stitches are gonna come loose. And so this side, look, if you see how beautifully this laid, it laid right on top of each other. You see it? And then this has a nice diagonal, okay? So that's how it should look. Okay, so other side, same thing. What we're gonna do is you want to have this pointy part, right? Lay right on top of that other part, okay? Like I said, I like to clip it just so that I know that it won't move. Okay. So it's nice and flush. Okay, and then I make sure that this diagonal right here is right in the middle, right there. Okay, so I have it right on top. Okay. Okay, and then make sure this bottom piece stays very, very flat. So that way there's no puckering of your fabrics. Okay, so I'm gonna start front stitch, back stitch, forward stitch, back stitch, okay? And then you can sew at a diagonal, keeping in mind where the dart is, okay? Okay, so you're gonna go past the dart, half inch, walk it. When you get to the corner or to the edge, back stitch it, forward stitch it off. You can lift your foot up because it's easier to pull the thread, and then you can cut it right there, okay? So if you look at this, this is flush as well, okay? And then you have a diagonal, right? Okay. So hold on real quick. Okay. So if you look at this piece, this is gonna go like this, okay? So it's kind of like a little heart shape right here, if you see it. A little heart shape. This is where your bosoms go for women, okay? So it creates this line that kind of contours to your shape, okay? So let me bring my iron in and then iron this in such a way. I'll show you how. Okay, I'll be right back. Okay, so while that's warming up, I'll show you guys what to do, okay? So the purpose of these darts are to make a shirt form-fitting and to fit to a woman's shape. So when you iron these darts, you want to iron it towards the center because what you want to do, it pulls the fabric to the center, making it look more form-fitting. If you iron the darts outside, it makes the body look bigger. So what you want to do is you want to iron it towards inside so the darts stay, okay? So what we're going to do is, I don't know if that's the best way, but that's how I do it. So what you want to do is you want to iron these towards the center, okay? So these are towards the center. just want to concentrate on the darts. It doesn't really matter if it folds up like that, because if you think about a woman's if it folds up like that, if you think about a woman's bosom, it goes in, right? It contours in. So you want to just fold this onto this towards the center and iron it. Okay. Make sure you get the dart. Okay. Okay. So you want to towards the center. Okay. Great. And then you want to do the other side the same way. Okay. So like I was saying before, this is contouring to the woman's body. So you can lay it on top of each other right there, and it gives that really beautiful V. You can see it. Okay. And then this one, the same way. You don't want to do it outside because it gives the illusion that it's bigger. You want to put it towards inside because you want it to be form-fitting. Okay. Okay. So now that I've done that, I see that my fabric has wrinkled a little. So I'm going to just do it just right on the fabric, iron the fabric out as well. Okay, so that looks amazing. Okay, great. You look at it. Okay, so now that's nice and ironed, I am going to put that on the side, and I am going to do my back darts. So I'm going to put this iron away, and I'll be back. I have my back bodice, and I have my muslin from before. So this is the grain line. So this is right against the selvage edge. So this, just make sure it's nice and straight. And then this, if you see, this is going to be cut too, because it's not going to be one whole piece. There's going to be a zipper. So what I'm going to do is make sure it's lined. Okay, great. Great. Let me just make it straight. Okay. And then what I'm going to do is, like I said, I don't have my round magnets. They're in storage right now. So I do have one magnet. I'm going to put that in the corner. Use my stapler. Use my Bible. God's great word. And I'm just going to trace it. Okay. I'm just using the, this is like, you can pin it too, that's up to you, but sometimes what happens when you pin it is it puckers, and you don't want that. Make sure it's flat. Make sure you get your notches. Okay, great. Notches. Moving the word of God so I can get out of the way. Love my Bible.